what could be done? First of all, my sister and her family was displaced from Bay County after the hurricane, and she has a home being built, and they've been working on it over 2 years, and the guy said that he had 5 more houses he was working at, but is there anything that can be done to rush this person? They keep making excuses why they haven't got it built, why they haven't got things done, and it's just a ridiculous amount of time.
Well, Patricia, basically what you're looking at for your sister, and I appreciate the call tonight, is how long should it normally take to build a house? And in normal times, it depends on what type of house is being built. If you go all the way back from Hurricane Michael, we had a shortage of labor and a place where labor could stay. And now what we're finding out is the price of lumber has really gone up. It's skyrocketed. The price of lumber has gone up 2, 3, in some instances even 4-fold. So the pricing of it may be an issue, the supply may be an issue. Just because a builder is trying to build 4 other houses along with it, that's not uncommon. Builders who build houses typically have 2, 3, or 4 going on at a time. What you want to make sure, though, is that the builder is not getting ahead of the draw schedule. So, Doug, why don't you explain what a draw schedule is in the construction industry, and how Patricia's family might want to just do a little checks and balances to make sure that the amount of money that they've spent is kind of tallying up with what they've spent so far.
Sure. Well, and really what this goes back to, Patricia, is your contract. And so it's your contract with the contractor that usually has deadlines and things like that. But because of the hurricane, and Hurricane Michael is still having ripple effects more than 2 years after the event, and will continue for some years to come, frankly. So you need to look at that, but you have to understand there's a legal doctrine of impossibility. In other words, if someone says, I'm going to do something by next week, and then a horrific storm comes in, well, they might have an excuse not to perform. So it's not black and white, your issue. Now, draw schedule, what Larry was saying is, that's typically when there's a loan for the construction, and then the lender will do inspections. If they've finished the foundation and put up the walls, they get 10%, 20% of the money and whatever for the construction, and then when they get the roof on, dry it in, they get a more percentage. That's how a draw schedule works. So, but usually the lender, though, is on top of that, usually. So I would think, your folks who are in this situation of, hey, contractor, finish, please. that's not an uncommon cry we're hearing in Bay County, and it's just every case is different. All the facts are different. We have to see, is the contractor being reasonable, following the contract, even with hurricane delays? And that's something where y'all need to look at it. As Larry might say, they might want to consult an attorney to see what they have there contractually.
Yeah, you need to have that series of checks and balances. You need to look at the contract. You need to make sure that everything that they say is being done is being done. The timeliness of it, sometimes in the contract it says, this contract's good for 6 months, a year, 18 months, whatever it may be. But as Doug pointed out, there are things that happen. And of course now you got a pandemic on top of the hurricane, on top of the supplies, on top of everything else. It does give a contractor a little bit of wiggle room. Sorry it's taken so long, but maybe it's something that can be resolved between you and the contractor, or your family and the contractor, very quickly.